Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Serif Fluoride, and their tagline is Quid Pro Fafo. The original OP is Dog Eat Dog, posted to r/True Off My Chest. I'm leaving my husband because I found out that he's been making fun of me behind my back to his ex. My husband, male 45, and I, female 36, met about 6 years ago. We've been married for 1 year. When we met, I was very fit and athletic. I started gaining weight, however, after suffering 2 miscarriages and the loss of my mother to cancer. I was very depressed and barely got out of bed, if not to go to work. I stopped exercising and instead started eating junk food. I gained 40 pounds in 2 years, from 2019 to 2020. Under this time, my husband, then fiancé, was very supportive and loving. I felt guilty and tried to give him an out several times, but instead, he proposed and we got married last summer. Since our marriage, I've been feeling much better, and it showed. I've lost around 20 pounds so far, and I gained back my muscles and abs. He was so happy to see me feeling better. On his computer, however, it was a totally different story. He was talking, almost under our entire relationship, to his ex-wife about me. His ex-wife, female 46, left him about 7 to 8 years ago for her colleague. The relationship didn't work out, however, and she tried to get back together with my husband. He has already met me, but they stayed friends, mostly via chatting, texting, since she lives 12 hours away. My husband was complaining about everything about me. My job, my depression, my cooking, but mostly about my weight. He was telling her how disgusting I was to him, how he even found it hard to share the same bed since I snored like a dog. He sent her pictures of me while sleeping, sometimes in underwear with comments about my belly, double chin, back boobs, etc. She found these pictures extremely amusing, and she came up with the name White Whale. They both found it hilarious. And now, this is what they referred to me as. They don't flirt exactly, or talk about being together or starting an affair, but they do say that they miss each other, and they reminisce about the time they were married. She's more flirtatious, and he really enjoys it. Whatever he's telling her isn't what I've experienced with him. I don't disgust him. He tells me he loves me all the time. We have great and passionate sex, and the way he touches and makes love to me is so great. He must be a really good actor if he was in reality disgusted by me. And he hates the few times we have to sleep apart. He's lying, and I don't know why he's doing it. He's lying to one of us, and I'm not sure if I want to know who he's lying to and why. I decided to get out of this marriage and leave this behind me. Right now, I'm acting like everything is normal, but I've started looking for a new job in another city and a place to rent. I also started with birth control pills in case something happens between us, and I've talked to a lawyer to prepare the divorce and start the proceedings once I'm gone. One thing I'm not going to do is fall back into depression and gain weight. I will not allow it. What a waste of love he's been. Edit, I can't believe I need to explain this about the birth control pills. Very simple explanation. Up until I went through his messenger, I loved and trusted this guy. We had a great sex life and we were trying to conceive. When I read what he has written and the way he took pictures of me sleeping, something happened inside of me. Like I don't know this person in front of me anymore. I can't read his face and I don't trust him. I don't know how long I'm going to need to stay under the same roof as him. I don't know what his reaction would be if I refused him under a long period of time with no real excuse. I don't know what else he's capable of besides taking pictures of sleeping people. I don't know if I, in a moment of weakness, succumbed to lust, or if he, for a moment, could fool me that he actually loved me. For all these reasons and many darker scenarios I've played in my head, I'm taking extra precautions. Anyone with an IQ of a chicken could understand that, or so I hope. Thank you everyone for the support. I will update you when I know more about where I'm headed. Update 2 hours ago, so July 9th, 2022. I now left my husband and served him the papers. White whale out. Hi again. I don't know how to make an update, but my original post is in my profile. Sorry if I'm using the wrong terminology for Reddit. But I'm feeling happy. So happy for the first time in weeks, and I wanted to share that with you since many of you supported me and requested an update. I thought it would be the decent thing to do. So, here comes nothing. I didn't pry or spy on my husband. I used his MacBook to do some work and he had forgotten to log out from Facebook Messenger. He has never given me any reason to spy on him. After I found out, however, I would occasionally check his phone, maybe hoping that it was all a bad joke. He continued complaining anyhow, and now he was telling her I was being distant and cold in manner, and that he was tired of me. He even lied and told her I was gaining even more weight, even though I'm not. He told her we weren't having sex. I avoided him because he couldn't find it under the rolls of fat. Vile. A joke that she highly appreciated. I didn't spy after that. I got the confirmation I needed. In the meantime, he acted the worried husband with me, concerned about me, and asking if I was going through a new depression. He told me he loved me and that he was there for me. He did everything like previous times I had dips. Called from work, came home with takeouts from my favorite restaurants, did all the cleaning and washing around the house, baked fresh bread in the mornings, flowers and chocolate, and asked me if I wanted to go for nighttime drives or walks. He used to take me for a drive the nights I was feeling very down and depressed. How can anyone be so two-faced? I have my big sister who lives in another city. I told her that I was leaving my husband and that I was looking for jobs in her city. My sister is married and she lives with her husband and daughter in a big house. She offered me one of her spare bedrooms. I got a few job interviews and one of them turned into an offer. It's not exactly my field of work and it came with a significant decrease in salary. But I thought about it and it's a good start until something more suitable comes up. I didn't want to prolong my stay with him any longer and a decrease in income is a good sacrifice. Plus, I'm going to have lower rent, and I'm selling my car since the new job is a walking distance from my sissy's house. No more worry about the crazy gas prices. My new job starts on October 1st. I'm working my notice period from my computer. The 2 months between jobs, I'm just going to have fun and work on myself. I took my name off the lease, but I'm going to pay 2 more months. I left him last Sunday. The night before, I prepared a very nice dinner, and I effed his brains out all night. It felt so good to hear him whisper how much he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. In the morning, I left the divorce papers and my attorney's number in the kitchen. When I got to my sister, I finally could tell her and the rest of my family about everything. I showed them all his conversations and even the pictures he's taken of me. They're all pissed at him. He's been calling and texting obsessively, but he doesn't know where I live now. Emailed, DM. He went to my parents, but they just shunned him at the door and advised him to let me go. Maybe he knows now because he's been asking to explain and apologize, etc. I don't care. All I've texted back is that if he wants to convey a message, he could do it through my lawyer. Dude, you fumbled the ball so goddamn hard. Your ex-wife left you for a colleague. And what do you do in response? You keep in contact and you just bash the shit out of your current wife who loves you to hell and back for what reason exactly? To gain her favor? To make her happy? The wife who left you for a colleague? Like, what was the end goal here? Why were you doing this if you weren't flirting and if it wasn't to try to get back with your ex-wife? Like, this was just being mean for the sake of being mean and to impress her for what? I mean, in the end, you got what you deserved. Your wife that actually loved you left your ass as she should have, and now you're going to be spending all this time wondering, why the hell did I shit-talk my wife to my ex-wife who left me for a colleague? Like, dude, you fumbled that so goddamn hard, and if this is how you behave, you deserve all of it. As for OP, I hope that things have been good. I hope you've been able to find yourself on your feet and, been able to get yourself a good job and a good place to stay and, maybe even a good new partner who doesn't shit-talk you to their ex. I just still cannot comprehend how badly this guy fumbled it. Like, dude, you should have been thinking just a bit harder about what you were doing. Just gross. And that's not even beginning to touch upon just the massive invasion of privacy. Like, taking photos of your partner to send to your ex while they're asleep to insult them and make fun of them, and then continuing just to pile it on, even while they're actively doing everything in their power to improve themselves and make themselves feel better after they're recovering from extreme mental health episodes, 2 miscarriages, and their mother dying. Like, dude, you fucking suck. This post was collected by Internet Addict 104. The original OP is a sit throwaway posted to r/mytheasshole March 2nd, 2022. Am I the asshole for walking out over a chair? Content warning for violence against chairs. Okay, hear me out. For as long as I can remember in my family, almost any time I got up from my seat, someone would take it to either be funny or to claim it as if no one was using it. And as a teenager, it literally got to the point I bought my own folding chair so I could pick it up and carry it with me. If I left it where it was, someone would take it, then get mad when I wanted it back. As an example, on a holiday last year, I got up from my chair for a moment to help with something and came back to find a kid in it. And then the family berating me for wanting them to move. But I tell them that when a man owns and brings his own chair, they expect to be able to use it. I own a very nice folding chair that's comfortable and easily portable, and I pretty much bring it to any family events because people are always scrambling for chairs. Well, the other day I went to a birthday party for my nephew, and like always, I brought my own chair. But at some point, I had to use the bathroom. When I came back, my chair was gone, and everyone acted like they didn't know where it was. I said they had 1 minute to return it or I was leaving. They laughed at first, but then realized I was serious as I started going for the door. Everybody told me to just calm down and it was just a joke. I said I don't care if they think I'm a stick in the mud. I wouldn't be bringing my own chair all the time if other people weren't always taking my seat when I got up. I didn't think it was funny. I never did. My brother-in-law then pulled the chair out of where he'd hidden it, and when I got it back, one of the legs was bent. I said it was not like this before, and how could he possibly have done this to a metal chair? He said he could fix it and tried to unbend it, but only made it worse. The chair is pretty much unusable now because the leg is warped, and I didn't want to risk putting weight on it. I told my brother-in-law he owes me $50 for the chair because that's what I paid for it 2 years ago. He got mad and kept saying it was just a stupid chair. I said it was my stupid chair, and this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't so immature that he and everyone else had to mess with me for years about where I sit. Then I took my now messed up chair and walked out. My family has been blowing up my phone saying that it's just a chair and to let it go. But I still want my brother to pay me back. Am I the asshole? Update, last night I sent a mass text out to my family that I will not be going to any family function no matter how important it is until they make this right by promising not to screw with me anymore and repay me for my chair. They've mostly gone quiet now. But I can wait. I've got all the time in the world for them to realize I'm serious. Update, July 26th, 2022. I walked out over a chair, and my family tore itself apart. I wasn't gonna come back here again. To be honest, I'd completely forgotten I made this account. I only got back in because I'd written down the password and left it in my desk. I was listening to Reddit videos on YouTube a couple weeks ago when I suddenly heard my old Am I the Asshole post. So, I thought I'd give an update. Well, things escalated a lot after I made that post because I linked it to my parents and other family members after a little while. They were furious with me at first. Some even mocked me, saying things like, "Oh, watch what you say or do around OP. He might just post about it on Reddit." But when they actually read the comments on my post when I made them, they became mortified. My brother-in-law did agree to pay for a new chair and gave me the money I asked for. I bought a better folding chair than my last one and resumed going to family functions. But whenever I was there was this air about some of the family members. They looked at me like I'd sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents had stopped thinking the chair thing was funny and even scolded a kid for taking my seat when I got up to use the bathroom. The only problem is that this kid was my nephew, and he started crying when they made him get up. My brother-in-law came to the boy's rescue, and my nephew ended up blurting out that his daddy told him he could do it. When I was out of the bathroom, there was a big fight about it going on. Several family members, including my sister and brother-in-law, were all yelling that it was just a damn chair, and I shouldn't be so butthurt about it. My parents demanded to know why they were so butthurt about not being allowed to screw with me anymore. Like, what was their motivation after doing it for so long? It made no sense and wasn't funny anymore. And that's when I intervened. I told them none of this crap would have ever happened if they hadn't been so intent on messing with me when there really was no point to it. And I only started bringing my own chair because I could never find a stable place to sit. And if they still thought they were in the right about the situation, then they were just bullies, plain and simple. And what kind of example is that to be setting for their son? My brother-in-law raged, grabbed my new chair, and hurled it through the living room bay window. There was a bit of a pause before he realized what he'd done. Then, he took off in his car and left my sister and nephew there. My parents got my sister to call him, and over the phone, they threatened to go to the police if he didn't pay for the damages. Brother-in-law yelled a few F-bombs until my sister took the phone back, and she said that he can either make things right or she'll divorce him. Well, that did the trick because he came back looking like a kick puppy with his head hanging low. He apologized to me and my parents without even looking at us, said he'll pay for the new bay window, and left again. My sister said he drank himself to sleep that night. My new chair was just fine. It took being hurled through a bay window like a champ. There was hardly a scratch on it. My brother hired a window company to come and replace the window, and they had to measure and order a new one before it could be installed. And until then, the window had to be covered with plywood. It took some time, but they got a new bay window. And it's better than the old one, though I imagine that it was extra expensive because it's a bay window. My family was still divided about the situation for a while, mainly brother-in-law's parents, my uncle, and a couple cousins. They blamed me and called me obnoxious over insisting on bringing my own chair and refusing to let anyone else use it. So I compromised. I said that if I had a designated seat that no one will try to take away, I'll leave my chair in my car. It took 2 more family barbecues before they finally agreed to this. Since then, I left my chair in my car unless there really wasn't enough seating, and that's only happened once since. The problem is, though, that even though they stopped screwing with me, they were still screwing with each other until things went too far. They still liked to take each other's seats, but I guess others were following my example because they put their feet down and demanded it to stop. It's been going on for decades, and they've had enough. Brother-in-law stayed out of the fight entirely and hasn't caused any more trouble. But for several family functions, a number of people didn't bother to show up. My mother was broken up about it because she loves hosting parties. It took months, but everyone more or less normalized again. But without the chair thing going on, some have resorted to other stupid pranks, like a little device you hook to a chair that makes farts. They didn't do this to my seat, but did it to a cousin, and said cousin got really petty at the next party and let out real farts. He said he ate a whole pack of fiber bars and had eggs for breakfast, and it was damn nasty. Other pranks included hiding eating utensils, a stink bomb, hiding some sort of monster thing in the toilet, cellophane in a doorway, ripping paper when someone bends over, messing with drinks, hiding shoes, copying outfits, a container of foam, packing peanuts above a doorway, and finally the one that really infuriated my aunt and uncle when a party was held at their house. A glitter bomb. They got the carpet professionally cleaned and billed the person who made the glitter bomb for it. So now, pranks are just over. They don't want any more. I'm fine with that, but the last few family functions have been a bit dull. I think they were so used to how things were that now they're trying to find other ways to amuse themselves that don't involve cell phones. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 more times. Pranks should be there to bewilder and amuse the victim. The victim should be laughing about it. A good prank, when it's revealed, should leave all parties with a smile on their face. These pranks are ones that are just there to be annoying and cause frustrations, and it gets to the point where you feel so entitled to your pranks that when you're being shut down, you throw a fucking chair through a window. A prank that is designed to harm someone or infuriate or embarrass or any of those aren't pranks, it's just gentrified bullying. Honestly, if the whole chair prank thing was happening and someone was like, hey guys, please stop, and you kept doing it, then they started bringing their own chair, Like, I feel like any decent human being would go, oh shit, they actually were being serious and we went too far. Fuck. I am so sorry. Not, well, now he's gotta start fucking with the chair that he bought with his own money because, like, well, how else are we gonna mess with him? And, it later ended up escalating to crimes against humanity, that being a glitter bomb. There is no easy way to clean up glitter. Not one goddamn way. That stuff will be around until the end of time. I just had the thought of, like, what if maybe, like, 2,000 years from now an archaeologist is going through the remains of New York or something. They find, like, an envelope that hasn't been opened yet, so they carefully open it up, take out the contents, open the contents, and just this poor archaeologist from 2,000 years in the future just gets fucking blasted by glitter. I'd be so pissed. These fucking ghosts are laughing at me. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Tree Admirable 9633, posted to r/legal advice, UK. Posted September 10th, 2024. Young kids attacked our Warhammer club and smashed up models. One of our members was arrested trying to prevent a Titan being destroyed. What are our options? Just for some, like, initial kind of, context here. A Warhammer Titan can go upwards to $2,000, and that's not including assembly time and painting. A small Warhammer kit of maybe 5 to 6 minis can go upwards to $30 on the low end. Now that you have some context as to what we're talking about here, let's jump in. I'm president of a Warhammer/tabletop gaming club in the UK. We meet up in a church every weekend to play with tiny and eye-wateringly expensive plastic soldiers. While we were meeting up last weekend, a crowd of 5 children entered on electric scooters through the church car park. We have a strict policy of no kids under the age of 16 unless they are accompanied by an adult. So we asked them politely to leave. They took badly to this, and the following events happened. Stabbing threats were made against a member of our committee by a child wielding a box cutter. Tables were flipped and models were deliberately smashed. Resin models costing in excess of £40,000 were destroyed and stomped on. Fire was set to pieces of terrain and battle mat. This was extinguished, but both are now unusable. Police were called and the children sprinted off on their scooters once they heard the sirens. Of the 5 children, 3 escaped, 1 was caught by the police, and 1 was grabbed by an autistic member of our gaming club and restrained as the child was in the process of trying to smash up a resin titan adorned with freehand paint. For context, some titans are large enough to where people will actively paint murals on them. The police took the 2 children away, but they also arrested the autistic member of our gaming club for hurting the child. The child alleged and screamed that our member had broken his arm, although he gave us the middle finger and stuck his tongue out when the police weren't watching his direction. We have not yet heard from our autistic member and do not know what's going on with him. His family are handling that side of things. With respect to the children, we have been informed that the ones who were caught are 8 and 9 years old respectively, and the other 3 kids are likely in the same year. The police have informed us that they have not been able to charge the children as they are beneath the age of liability, or something like that. There were discussions about a possible local child curfew. My concern is that a curfew would only partially cover the hours which our club opens. What I want to know is 1. What is likely to happen to our autistic member for restraining someone who is trying to destroy his property? 2. Our club's insurance did not cover criminal damage. Is there any way that compensation can be extracted from these children? We still have 2 of their electric scooters that the police failed to collect from the scene of the crime. We think we found the brands that they had for sale online, and each one appears to cost between £350 to £600 new. 3. Damage is still being assessed. The total cost of replacing destroyed models and terrain has reached £4,500. However, this does not account for the expensive paint jobs that went into these models. Is that something which can also be added on? It would probably double or triple that figure. Before anyone asks, gluing the figures back together is not an option. The vast majority of what has been damaged are resin models. They are incredibly delicate and have snapped and shattered. Even if they could be repaired, they would be horrendously deformed, and not in the good Nurgle way. Relevant comments. Electrical Concern 67. 1. Unless unreasonable force was used, I can't see what action would be taken. Reasonable force can be used regardless of age and would not attract any criminal sanction. 2. Unlikely. Sadly, the expense is likely huge, not just financially, but time investment. But you cannot sue children. Parents are unlikely to be held liable, as it's quite a complex area of law, but broadly, the parent must be in some sort of control to be liable, and you cannot dispose of others' property in such a way. 3. As to above. As a fan, I feel the pain. OP responds, he had pinned the child with their arms restrained. He had previously tried to let the child go twice, but on each occasion, it turned around and tried to destroy the model. The child also had a deodorant can and a lighter on them, but didn't get to use them. In the end, our member pinned them to the ground while the child screamed and swore at him using every name under the sun. A couple of other members blocked their kids from rescuing their friend, and then they scampered when the police arrived. Thank you, I appreciate it. Unfortunately, there was nothing more we could have done. The church does not have great security and is very open. Anyone can walk into the building at any time. They run a food bank and counseling in different zones. Our zone was the one that got attacked by the kids when they came in through the parking lot entrance. User regular ad 1814. Realistically, expect to have to eat the cost. It's not fair, but that is unfortunately the world we live in at the moment. OP responds, this is quite painful. There are a lot of members of our clubs who have had to save up over a decade to build their armies. There are also irreplaceable ones, such as the, Elysian Drop Troopers, who haven't been in production since 2017. There's nothing he can do to get those models back unless he pays insane, out-of-pocket prices on eBay. An army is composed of multiple squads and vehicles. A single squad may have cost £40 new. Glancing online, each one costs around £130 to £140 to replace it. Vehicle prices have similarly tripled. User suitable opposite 377. I'm kind of lost, no offense, but how the hell do 5 9-year-olds set fires and destroy that many models when members of the club are 16 plus? Did y'all just stand there and watch them do it? OP responds, one of them had a knife, others had deodorant cans and lighters. Police were called, fires were put out with fire extinguishers, some members were taking disabled ones to safety, others were evacuating their own models. Fire alarm went off, it was absolute chaos. Edit. Please do not DM me inquiring about donations. Our committee discussed the matter, and we voted against it. If you see any charities, GoFundMes, requests for donations, or anything like that, it is not us. We have some wealthy members in our club, and we will take care of our own. If what happened to us inspires you to donate, then Google your local food bank, give them a call, and ask what they are running short on. Plastic models are a luxury, food is a necessity. Update, May 30th, 2025, over 8 months later. The committee has voted to release the following statement. We have been unable to recover any damages from any of the children or their families. No children who attacked our club faced any criminal charges or prosecutions. They're still in the streets, causing chaos, including popping car tires at the church with nails, throwing stones at members in their cars, and starting fires around the area. They have not re-entered the club since, though. Models have been mostly replaced and repaired thanks to some wealthy members of our committee, and other members who volunteered time with 3D printing. The painting process is ongoing. The autistic member of our community who detained one of the children that was attacking us on our property had to accept a caution from the police. The child alleged their arm was broken, sprained, or injured and were wearing a sling, but we caught them on camera riding a bicycle the next week with no sling and full mobility. This child repeatedly yells at this member when he sees him getting collected by his mother. This child has not been arrested for doing so, despite repeat reports of harassment. While we were contacted by major hobby companies, we have declined to accept donations from any of them. Any proposed donations were redirected towards local food banks. Relevant comments. Kine County 9767. Are the police aware of the actual damages caused? If it's armies of models and a Titan destroyed, the like-for-like replacement cost, including painting/construction to an equivalent quality, is likely to be well into the thousands, if not approaching 5 figures. A copper who doesn't know any better could easily look at it as kids breaking some toys, rather than the massive criminal damage it actually is. OP responds, yes, final calculation of damage exceeded £4,800. This is purely the cost of buying replacement models and ignores all emotional investment, e.g. the model, which had been painted by a member's grandfather and World War II veteran who served in Market Garden, and time spent painting models. User Thorbane comments, as an officer and someone who commented on your original post 9 months ago, I did wonder what the outcome was. I am surprised at a handful of these outcomes though, like really surprised. He also didn't answer when people asked the rough age of these kids. If they were 10, they should have been given a vault interview, if not arrested. Did you get anywhere with small claims like most people suggested, by the way? If you have witnesses and CCTV, it should have been a done deal, honestly. I'm glad still overall no one else was hurt and the company has moved past it. Unfortunately, the youths that have done this will more than likely be arrested for other and worse offenses as they grow up. There's very little control on some of the kids I deal with these days, and it's an exact replica of their parents. Keep your head up. OP responds, apologies for not replying to you at the time. Children were varied ages, youngest 8 and eldest 10. The 10-year-old had only egged the others on, / not committed the same level of destruction as the 8 and 9-year-olds. Police were unable to charge him with anything. We also had to hand back both electric scooters to the police, despite being valued at several £100s each. I can't answer about small claims, unfortunately. There's an ongoing delicate situation about that, and the committee voted to keep that matter private until it is resolved. I am very much hoping that small claims works out for them, because this is, well, as someone who does paint models and does put them together and loves Warhammer and has been a fan of Warhammer since I was 6 years old, this deeply hurts. Games Workshop doesn't actively maintain a lot of their resin kits. Hell, there was a time you couldn't get your hands on a Warhound Titan or a Reaver Titan. Only the Warlord, and even now, they no longer have the configurator up. You just have to buy the parts individually. And to buy one single weapon combo is over $200. The body itself is $2,000. Those motherfuckers are expensive. That doesn't even get into the bitch and a half that it is to actually assemble them. Those resin pieces are not properly maintained, and you gotta bend, finagle, and mold those bastards to actually get it to work. To assemble a fully built Titan can be literal months of work. And those little fuckers just get away with it scot-free. Chances are these kids are eventually gonna get their shit together and they're just gonna look back at this as, "Aw man, that was so funny when we were causing chaos, haha," and no consequences. No one to hold them accountable. Their parents not giving a shit. All we can really hope to do is hope that justice is served in small claims court in some way or another. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Kippers 5, posted March 30th, 2015. Me, 25 female, with my boyfriend, 28 male of 7 months. He's been blocking a lot of my male friends on Facebook without my knowledge. Made a throwaway as my boyfriend knows my account. This came to my attention because I was meeting with a group of my friends when one of them asked me if I had deleted my Facebook. I haven't, and asked why he thought this, and he said it was because I had disappeared from his Facebook. He said I must have blocked him then, which I was sure I hadn't, but I got my phone out and checked where I discovered he had been blocked, along with a bunch of other of my friends and acquaintances, all male, who I know I hadn't blocked. I was 99% sure it was my boyfriend who had done it. I let him use my computer, so it would have been real easy for him to do it. Also, when we first started dating seriously, he got a little jealous about a guy I messaged sometimes, totally platonic, and asked me to delete him. With this guy, I did understand why my boyfriend didn't like it, because I did have a bit of a history with him. At least in this case, my boyfriend talked to me about it first and why it made him uncomfortable, so I was fine with it. However, I find him blocking my friends on Facebook for no reason without telling me weird and a little controlling. I confronted him and he admitted it straight away, like it was no big deal. I told him it makes me feel like he doesn't trust me and that it's kind of hurtful. He said it wasn't that he doesn't trust me, but he doesn't trust my friends. What does he think is going to happen? In the unlikely scenario that one of them did message me sexually, or whatever, does he not think I can handle myself? Again, it just feels like he doesn't trust me. He told me it's not a big deal and it's normal for guys to be protective of their girlfriends. But I don't feel like that at all. He genuinely doesn't seem to understand why it upset me. I could be overreacting a little, but I hate that he did this behind my back. I thought we had a really good relationship, and he has no reason to not trust me. I kind of wanted to rant about this and get some reassurance that this isn't normal. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But I haven't had a boyfriend do anything like this before. Too long didn't read, my boyfriend has been on my Facebook and blocked a lot of my male friends, without telling me. He claims it's normal and that he's protecting me. But I feel like he doesn't trust me. Relevant comments, Captain Corelli. Massive red flag, jealousy issues. He said it wasn't that he doesn't trust me, but he doesn't trust my friends. The same excuse every time. He doesn't trust you, because if he did, he'd know you'd actually have some say in someone attempting to make a move. Insecure guys like him seem to think you're naive or have no say in it. It's insulting, and it's the deflective way of saying, I don't trust you. He doesn't trust you. Why are you with someone who doesn't? He told me it's not a big deal and it's normal for guys to be protective of their girlfriends, but I don't feel like that at all. He's delusional to boot. Change your passwords on social media. Explain first the massive privacy issue, and that is why he no longer gets access. Because he cannot be trusted. Then he gets his arse to therapy straight away because this is not how a healthy relationship works. If he refuses to go because he doesn't understand why his behavior is wrong and the controlling and jealous behaviors will get worse if he doesn't seek help. OP responds, thanks, I did need to hear something like this. I'll talk to him again, but I can pretty much guarantee he would laugh at even the idea that he needs therapy. Maybe it is over. It just seems to have come out of nowhere. User told you so comments. This isn't probably what you want to hear, but when a 28-year-old man starts dating a 22-year-old woman and takes the initiative to block her friends on Facebook, at that point, it's not a coincidence that there's an age gap. He's dating you because of the age gap, not in spite of it. He thinks that because you're so much younger that he can control and manipulate you. If he tried that shit with a woman his own age, she'd dump him immediately. He thinks he can get away with it because you're so young and inexperienced. Show him he's wrong about that by getting away from him. Yesterday. OP responds, I've had people comment on the age gap before and I never thought it was an issue. I don't think it's that big. But maybe it is a factor. He obviously has more relationship experience than me, so maybe he thought he could get away with it. Update, April 6th, 2015, 1 week later. Wow, okay, so this has been a tough week, but I'm starting to think positive about what has happened and realize it is probably a good thing to be out of the relationship. The replies to my post were pretty much unanimously telling me it was a sign of him trying to control me, and this got me thinking about so many other things in our relationship. I could have been analyzing things, but there were so many other aspects I think I overlooked because I just thought he loved me, but really were him trying to be controlling. That night, I felt so weird and stupid that I hadn't noticed things earlier, but I really couldn't face talking to him right then. I wanted more time to think about everything. I was supposed to be going to his place that night, so I texted him telling him I couldn't go. This pissed him off, and he kept trying to call me, but I really didn't want to talk to him, so I just told him I would call him tomorrow. He didn't stop, though, and was texting me, telling me to answer my phone. So I eventually gave in, and did. He asked me what was wrong, and I told him the Facebook thing had upset me, and I didn't like him trying to control me. He then said I was only getting upset because I had a guilty conscience. This made me so mad that I told him if he really thinks I've cheated on him, then fine, it's over, and I hung up. I was so fuming mad and hurt that I had a determination to ignore his calls and messages for the rest of the night. However, the next day, when we had both calmed down, I agreed to meet him. He was doing that thing when he acted like everything was okay and tried to hug and kiss me when I saw him, but I pushed him away. So we talked, but never once did he apologize or back down and admit what he did was not okay. He was standing by his stance of he doesn't trust them, and was trying to twist into a compliment that these guys can't help themselves. I met up with him with a little hope that he would apologize and we could maybe try and work it out. But his reaction made me realize that we couldn't. I told him he was full of shit and that he was trying to control me, and I didn't want to be with him anymore. He got mad, called me all kinds of names, but in some ways, that made it easier for me and reassured me that I was doing the right thing. We had no contact for a couple of days, but then he started calling me and leaving messages, telling me he was sorry and he loved me. I probably shouldn't have, but I agreed to see him again, and he told me He only did it because he didn't want to lose me, etc. But I just got the feeling he was trying to tell me what he thought I wanted to hear. I just knew that it was over, and I told him. He got mad again, and his parting words were something like, "Fine, go and be a fucking whore then." Which was upsetting to hear from the man I thought loved me, but if that's his opinion of me, then he's not the guy for me. I've not heard anything from him for a few days now, so hopefully I can try and get over it soon. Too long didn't read, broke up. I can't be the only one here who feels like this guy just told on himself massively. He thinks his behaviors are common, so therefore he's got to protect against the behaviors that he would have. He wouldn't stop himself from flirting with a married woman or someone who's in a relationship. He'd pursue them. Just look at you. Guys can't help themselves around you. Can't help themselves from what, exactly? Flirting? Because no matter what, assuming every conversation he's thinking of is a two-way street, no matter what, he's not trusting OP to say no to them. In his mind, because she's so much younger than him and he was able to manipulate her and get into a relationship with her and have this kind of control over her, other guys can clearly do that too, so therefore he has to be extremely protective, because someone else is going to use his tactics on her, and he can't have that. He has to have her. I'm also not saying that all age gap relationships are like this. I'm just saying this specific guy with his tendencies and behaviors. I've seen other guys do this. I've had other guys do this to me. It's just insecurities mixed with control. And him claiming that his abnormal behaviors are what all guys do, and this is just how it is a pretty big tell. There's also another aspect of this, by the way, of cutting off her friends, isolating her, removing her ability to contact the outside world and check in. Starting with the male friends, then eventually, when questions start to get raised, well, your female friends are questioning our love. You should just block them, because they don't understand what we have. She dodged a bullet. This would have gotten only worse and worse and worse and more controlling as he went along, and got away with more and more of his behaviors with his shitty justifications. I hope to God that OP didn't just rely on him no longer communicating and actually just blocked him after all this was said and done. Well, considering this video's up, that means that I'm doing at least somewhat of a good job of actually maintaining my, potential vacation schedule or staycation. Is it really a vacation if you're just relaxing at home? At least I hope so. I do want to take this time, though, to thank everyone in all of the ways you guys have been supporting the channel. From gamer subs, to memberships, to commenting, to subscribing, to liking, to watching through to the end of the video. Just all those things. They're small, but they actually help significantly. I would not be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you guys, so thank you. And of course, just because as a reminder, gamer subs use code ODDS at checkout. Every purchase made supports the channel directly. You can find a link in the description below. Gives you 10% off. Also, on top of that, if you choose to support the channel via memberships, it's only $3 a month. $3! And you support the channel even closer. So, think of it like a really shitty Netflix subscription. You get comment emotes.